and welcome to yet another power-packed episode of Tea Time. We're at Unitech Golf Course in Noida and I'm Chaiti Narula. Joining me today on the show is a third-generation entrepreneur. He's young, he's dynamic. When he talks, he does make a difference, and from him we're going to know a little more about his entire endeavour about entrepreneurship and Modi Naturals, the company which he currently heads as well.
On the show this week, we have Akshay Modi, Executive Director, Modi Naturals.
Getting the right people on board, the right team, building a good distribution and logistics infrastructure, and subsequently strong brands and communication that can really get your company out there.
In news, Henrik Stenson becomes first man to win the European Tour's race to Dubai's title. And Harris English won the rain-delayed OHL Classic for his second PGA Tour title.
That's brilliant, Akshay.
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
to Tea Time.
Thank
Not
you.
bad for just about taking up the game recently.
Well, I thought I was playing hockey there. No,
You were lying to me when you were telling me offline that you're a bad golfer and you've just taken to it.
Thank you very much.
So let's start off with the FMCG business now. More than 50% of the consumption of edible oil in this country is met through imports. How far are we from achieving self-sufficiency of sorts in this sector?
To be honest with you, we're not even getting close to that. In fact, the situation is getting worse. If you look at back in 92 or 93, our imports of edible oil was only about 10% of the consumption, 10 to 15%. But that number has risen sharply, primarily because oilseed crops are diminishing in India.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the production just cannot keep up with the demand.
Any major roadblocks to manufacturers like you in this space?
Well, roadblocks, yes. Like I said, the Indian oilseed crop is not competitive with the global crop, which is why we're importing so much. And you see the emergence of large refineries at the ports. So yes, times are difficult for the inland refiners who are restricted to their geography. But that's the major roadblock. And the other is also the regulatory scenario here. And the import duty structure plays a major role on the refineries.
Now, staying with manufacturing, manufacturing does happen to remain your core focus after you've taken off over as the ED of Modi Naturals, isn't it?
If you look at our core strength over the last 4 decades, it has been manufacturing. And so naturally, when I get into the business, I start off with the core strength, which is manufacturing. We have been doing that for the last few generations. And now it's really about leveraging that strength and getting into the other verticals, which is, distribution and the FMCG business.
Actually, now the government has really given a push to oilseed production in this country. There are also many reforms that have come in that favor as well. Are we seeing a gradual change in this country in terms of oilseed production?
These are things that take time. I mean, developing a new crop is a long drawn-out process. It takes 5 to 10 years, and for any one government, it's difficult to show results very quickly. But yes, the government is making efforts, and all the industry associations like the Solvent Extractors Association and the Kuwait have made recommendations to the relevant ministries on how to up the domestic production. So I guess in a few years to come, we will see some change, but at the moment, it's very gradual.
Now, we are seeing consumer preferences changing. We are seeing that consumers are now increasingly preferring ROCP over loose unbranded oil as well.
Yeah.
How are you taking on to the larger pie in the market share?
Well, if you see over the last few years, the trend is shifting, as you rightly said, towards consumer packs. That's for 2 reasons. The awareness of packaged goods is growing amongst the consumers, and also because the government has decided to stamp out unbranded and loose sale of oil because of health concerns and adulteration issues. So back in the day, the Indian government imposed something called the edible oil packaging order, makes packaged oil being sold mandatory. So one cannot actually sell unbranded oil anymore in India. It does sell still, it's a gradual shift, but if you see the edible oil consumption is growing at about 5% per annum, but the consumption of consumer packs is growing at 20 to 25% per annum. So I
How
would
you-
say in 5 to 7 years, there's going to be a complete change from unbranded to packaged. And if you look at the packaged oil business, there are 4 categories. One is the branded and packaged commodity business. The other is within that commodity packaged oil. There's also the flavor-oriented oils. Like in the north, there's the preference of mustard oil. In the south, like Kerala, you have coconut oil. In the west and some parts of south, you also have groundnut oil. And then the third category is the health oil category. So you have a few brands which talk about cardiac health and other health issues. That
You've made a foray into that as well.
Absolutely, and the new emerging category is also the premium, super premium oils, which are olive oil and canola oil, which are coming into India, and are being marketed here for health grounds as well. So you see these two categories sort of converging, the health and the premium category.
So today you cater to the more discerning consumer. You
Absolutely.
cater now to the health conscious consumer as well. Today you cater to the more educated consumer. How are the customer preferences in the country coming about? What does the landscape really look like?
Well, if you look at the data in India, there's a lot of urbanization happening. The youth forms a very large part of the Indian consumer. They know what to consume, what not to consume, and access to information is, more than ever.
Yeah.
So in these times, with rising consumer awareness, being in the health and wellness segment is probably the right thing to do, which is what we're targeting.
So we're going to be staying with a more discerning consumer. We're going to discuss the trends in much detail in this space. We'll also embark upon Akshay's entrepreneurial journey in this sector. Stay with us on Tea Time. Akshay and I will see you on the other side. So welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Tea Time. We're still in conversation with the young entrepreneur, Akshay Modi of Modi Naturals. Now, Akshay, you discussed with me offline as to how you want to see this commodity business really turned into a full-fledged FMCG business. Your vision is very clear from the start.
Absolutely.
Take us through your vision for Modi Naturals.
Well,
and the sector, of course.
Yeah, to start with, our core strength, like I said, was manufacturing of edible oil.
Yeah.
And for over the last few years, we've been supplying edible oils such as rice bran oil and sunflower oil to the leading brands in bulk. So my first idea was to convert that into packaged branded business.
Yeah.
So we identified a new emerging category, which is the olive oil and the healthy oil segment. And so we have actually managed to launch products in both these segments. We're the first company to ever do that. And we have products in the olive oil sector category, as well as premium oils. And in premium oils, we came up with a really healthy blend, which is an olive oil plus rice bran oil blend, and along with a few other ingredients, which actually poses that as one of the healthiest oils you can consume in India today. We're using that product and brand to set up our distribution and sales infrastructure and build a sales organization. And once that is in place, then we have a few other products in the pipeline and things like that. So that's we're making a start.
So good, we will stay with your vision and see how this pans out. Now, how is the retail landscape really changing in India?
Oh yes, absolutely.
How?
Well, the emergence of the supermarkets and the big foreign retail chains coming into India it's going to impact the Indian consumer in a very big way in the next few years. It already has to some extent in the urban areas. You see hypermarkets, supermarkets, not only in FMCG but also in consumer goods. So the retail landscape is changing fast, and that presents opportunity to new brands and new products, because it also gives opportunity to new brands and products to display well and interact and engage with the consumer and create awareness. So it's an excellent platform for a brand and company like ours.
Going forward, you will also end up seeing a larger pie in the market share, given that the retail landscape is changing, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, today modern retail has what, 8 to 10% share in Indian retail, but that is changing fast, and I think by some reports have said by 2025 it will go up to about 25%.
Because we're about to say bye-bye to all the Kirana stores that exist.
I don't think so. There's obviously going to be some consolidation, but there's room for everybody in the market.
All right.
Good shot.
Thank you. That's lovely.
In the water. Oh, green.
Not bad. So now, let's talk about your business now. Come back to it. Olive, which is the olive oil brand, is something that you
Well
built
said.
yourself. What really went into creating this as the flagship brand of Modi Naturals?
Well, I've been a part of this from the very beginning, and in fact, I played an extremely crucial role in developing Olive. Primarily because it was our first brand, our flagship brand, and since it was something new to us, we even got some external help. We took on some advisors who were who had worked previously with leading FMCG companies, and they sort of helped us, held us through the process of developing Olive. And so we did a lot of market research. We did the entire process. We went through the entire process of developing a new brand and a product that most FMCG companies go through. It took us time. It took us about 1.5 years to develop what we have today. And over the course of that development, the core strength that I've really developed is understanding the consumer insight and converting that into a product that will be successful in the marketplace. And including the branding, the designing, what goes inside, the ingredients, the packaging, and then the distribution and marketing as well.
So let's talk about different variants within the Olive brand that you have currently.
Well, you can split Olive into two parts. One is the premium gourmet oils that we talk about, like Olive extra virgin olive oil, or pomace oil, or extra light oil. We have all those products, but other than that, what we developed, and we're the first people to do that, is actually an olive oil blend. And so we have something called Olive Active, which is a blend of olive oil and rice bran oil and a few other ingredients which are performance enhancers.
Right.
So this product is actually a first in the sense that it can be used for everyday cooking in India. It doesn't change the flavor of Indian food, and it can be used for frying at high temperatures. So this product is actually a unique value proposition that we've built.
Let's talk a little about your entrepreneurial journey actually. Your schooling happened in Dehradun. You went to college, you went to London, you were in Leeds. Did you always want to get into your family business?
Well, absolutely. I mean,
when you were growing up, was that something that was told to you? Was it something out of choice?
To be honest with you, while growing up, you see this day in and day out. So you know that I mean, you grow up in that environment, and you sort of develop a passion for it. And entrepreneurship is something that comes naturally. So of course that's something that I wanted to do, and like I said previously, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be playing a sport.
So well, entrepreneurship is something that runs in the family, and he's inherited that because he comes from a family of entrepreneurs, so as to speak. He's 27 and he's the executive director. At this young age, what are the challenges that he really faces in terms of being a leader? We're going to discuss that on the other side of this break. Stay with us on Tea Time. Thank you for staying with us on Tea Time. Akshay, now what really is the formula to build a good, strong FMCG player who's here to stay?
Well, to start with, you need an idea. You need a product that works for you, that works in the market. Once you have that, then of course there are many other factors like building the organization, which cannot run without people. So getting the right people on board, the right team, building a good distribution and logistics infrastructure, and subsequently strong brands and communication that can really get your company out there.
So absolutely a team effort. Now you're 27. You're a leader at that young age. You're the executive director of a company. I'm sure there are a lot of challenges that you face in the boardroom being that age.
I've been asked this question several times, and it's not easy, because to start with, I'm 27 now, but I joined the company a couple of years ago with my vision. I was 25 back then, and initially people don't really take you seriously, but you have to prove yourself initially. Then people start taking you seriously, your ideas seriously, and whether you can execute them or not, which is the main challenge. So immediately after my education, I didn't join the business straight away. I worked for a consulting firm in Gurgaon, and gained some experience there for about a year, and then I joined the business.
It was imperative for you to be outside of your
Absolutely, you need to
family.
learn to sit in one place for 8 hours a day. So that's something that helps you do that and brings some discipline and work ethic in your life.
I'm a little early in the day to ask you this question, but what really constitutes a good leader? You are leading a team of many.
Well, lead by example, really.
Something that passed down to you from generations? Is that what you
Absolutely.
learned from
I've seen
family?
that. I've seen my dad do that. He's the first one at the office, and he leads by example. Whenever there's something difficult, we face a challenge, he's the first one to try and solve that. Of course, getting the team to do it is one thing, but leading by example is the first step.
And what are the kind of family values that have been imbibed to you in a business family? There must be a lot of business talk happening at the dinner conversations as well.
We'll try and keep it out of it. we'll try and keep the business talks
but it's inevitable,
out
I'm
of
sure.
the dinner room, but out of the dining room. But it is inevitable, and even the ladies at home like discussing new ideas and things like that. But the value that's really been imbibed in all of us kids in our families is the never say die spirit. I've been brought up in a family which believed in a good all-round education. So my folks sent me to a boarding school in Dehradun, the Doon school, after which I went abroad to do engineering. So I'm actually an engineer by education, and living abroad also sort of
opens up and
opens
widens
up your vision,
horizons,
your horizon.
Yes.
And also teaches you independence, and it also puts you out of your comfort zone, so you tend to survive in any kind of atmosphere.
So staying with your learnings, what has golf really taught you ever since you took on to this game?
Well, golf really did. I mean, it just happened by chance. It wasn't really my first sport. I used to play a lot of hockey, and
squash.
Squash, yes, a lot of long distance running. Spent a few hours in the gym. But now an injury has kept me away from all that, so now I've started playing golf. But golf has taught me a lot of patience, because I'd been playing a lot of action sports all my life. So golf has taught me patience, and that's something that I take back to the boardroom.
Are you a fan of extreme sports?
Absolutely. I've done a lot of mountaineering as well in my life.
And this is the biggest irony, standing here on the golf course then.
Well, like I said, an injury has kept me away, but I'll be back at it in a few months.
Does golf help you network a lot, develop business, helps you in marketing and PR initiatives?
Yes, it does. It does, absolutely. Like we're standing here today and talking about the business.
It's indeed an enterprising sport, and I'm sure you agree with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's finish our game. We talk a little more about you. That's not bad at all. This is lovely. Good game. Okay, so let's talk about your corporate social responsibility exuded by you at Modi Naturals. You all are making your presence felt in that space. A lot of programs and adoption of a lot of schools as well. Tell me more.
Well, we like giving back to the society, especially in and around where we live and operate. And I mean, that's something that's been imbibed in us from the family from the very start. Even from during the school and college days, we used to be part of charitable events and things like that.
Yeah.
We used to, even in Leeds, we used to host, organize, and even participate in shows which were ticketed, and entertainment shows, and the proceeds of which we used to send to an orphanage in Bangalore. So, taking that forward, we have also taken initiatives from Modi Natural side. So we've adopted a village called Prathmik Vidyalay, which is very close to our factory in a village, and we provide free education to the kids there, and we also ensure that that the teachers are present. You know how the state of government schools is in rural areas. So we make sure that the teachers are there to teach, the kids are provided with the right books and materials to study. So that's one of the key
this is something that
initiatives.
you all are doing for ages. In your personal capacity, what is it that you would like to change or adopt in terms of CSR?
Well, we've taken a three-pronged approach towards CSR. So we do something for children education. We do something for the farmers that helps us give back to society. So we have a very extensive agricultural program where we educate farmers. We've tied up with an agricultural university in the vicinity, Pantnagar University. So we actually get the professors down to the farms and teach farmers how to improve their oilseed crops. That's something we do for the farmers. And the third front is the environment. So all the fuels that we use in our factory are biofuels. We don't use any fossil fuels whatsoever.
Yeah.
So these are the three main heads under which we do our CSR.
Lovely. So what is your life mantra at 27? It'll obviously, you'll evolve, it'll change, but for now, what is it that you strongly believe in?
do whatever you do, do your best, give your best at whatever you do. And at this stage, of course, I'm in an entrepreneurial journey, which takes in a lot of time and effort. But yeah, basically the idea is to give best at whatever you do.
So do what you do and do it best. That's a
Absolutely.
lovely life mantra to have. On
Thank
that
you
note,
much.
thank you for joining me
Thank you
on
so
Tea
much,
Time.
Jyoti.
That was Akshay Modi of Modi Naturals and me, Chaiti Narula, signing off on Tea Time. I will see you next week again with another interesting guest. Until then, enjoy the flight of a good drive.